absolutely enormous. I mean, just look at the girth on that animal. Hey, good morning everybody. I'm just here playing with this amazing reticulated python. What a great animal. And of course I'm still down at my buddy Charlie's place, but we're in his actual awesome reptile house. I mean, this place is like a dream. So I'm gonna show you some cool animals, including this amazing reticulated python. I mean, she is like about the size of Lucy, but she's super docile. I mean, guys, look at the size of this thing's head. I mean, her head's even bigger than Lucy's, but she's super chill. So basically this house is just full of a bunch of really cool reptiles. Definitely an amazing ball python collection. So I'll show you a few cool snakes, and then we're gonna look at some awesome ball pythons. I hope that you guys are gonna enjoy it. And remember to comment down below and let me know what your favorites are. What do you say? We just jump into it. There's a lot to see. I tell you what, some of these snakes really have me jealous. Look at this green anaconda. You guys know that I cannot wait till Verde gets this big, and of course a lot bigger, but she probably has the same temperament as this one. And of course this is a green anaconda, and you can see it's in shed. Now typically snakes in shed are more aggressive. That tells you how unbelievably beautiful this green anaconda is. And just amazingly enough, because this is a female, just like Verde, she's literally gonna get, you know, 15, 16 plus foot long and this big around. So this is still just a little pup, but I just can't wait till I can carry Verde around like this. I mean, this is so awesome. And again, Charlie has a bunch of really cool eclectic snakes like these anacondas and of course the reticulated python, but he has an amazing ball python collection. So we're gonna dove into that in a minute. Holy moly, guys. You guys know that I got that big boa just recently, and I thought it was one of the biggest boas that I've ever seen. Take a look at this animal right here. This is a big female Columbian Boa, and that thing is absolutely enormous. I mean, just look at the girth on that animal. They don't typically get this big. This is definitely in the top 4 or 5 that I've ever seen as far as size, and what a puppy dog, huh? I love it. I'm having such a good time. I almost don't want to go to Africa. I'd like just to hang out here, if you know what I mean. But we do have to get on a plane here later on tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get right into these ball pythons. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm only going to be able to show you a small amount of what he has, because this would be a 2.5 hour vlog if I showed every single animal. He has some crazy stuff. So let's just get into it. Let's get started with this animal, because red striped ball pythons are just kind of really popular now ever since Justin Kabelika produced that magma, which was like a red striped clown, whatever the case is. So this happens to be what they call a red devil, which is a super red stripe because it's a codominant mutation, and a genetic stripe. And these guys are really cool. I think that the red devils were the first morph that Ian out at Outback Reptiles actually released pictures of. So this happens to be kind of like that first wave of red stripe. Definitely a cool animal. This one's really beautiful. This is a super pastel lesser orange ghost. So of course the orange ghost is recessive. The super pastel is the super version of a pastel, and then a lesser. Again, this is just a really beautiful version of some of the early mutations all kind of combined together. I tell you what, highways are really breathtaking, and this is a really good version of it. This is a super pastel highway. I mean, just take a look at that animal. I just love the fact with the highways, it's almost like purple that's breaking through in the patterning. I mean, that thing is absolutely adorable. Here's another ball python that honestly I've never seen, and I think it's super cool. It's what they call a crystal nanny. Now the nanny is basically almost like a granited gene, and then of course the crystal would be Mojave and special. But together that makes a really interesting snake. I think this is freaking super cool. I just love how it's like ultra blushed out. I've showed you guys the super cinnamons and super black pastels, which are basically like a black or dark brown ball python. Well, this is the other version, which is a super mahogany, which is basically a suma ball python, but this happens to be a pastel suma. So the sumas are really black, and actually probably my favorite of all of the kind of solid black ball pythons. But this one being pastel makes it almost more like a lighter brown color, but nevertheless, this is a really powerhouse animal. This is a super pastel fire vanilla lesser. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of genes, but look at how soft and beautiful that pattern is. I mean, that thing is so crazy. Again, I'm just showing you a little bit of what he has. I mean, some of the things I think that are amazing. There are so many great animals in here. I wish I had all day to show you guys. I like some of the earth tone stuff too. I've always just been a fan of it, and this happens to be a Bongo Enchi Cine. The Bongo Cine stuff is really cool, and then you throw that Enchi gene in there, and it's really nice. Again, not everything has to be bright yellow. Sometimes these earth tones are really awesome. Take a look at this here. This is actually a super orange dream Mojave fire ball python. I've talked about the orange dream being really beautiful. It just really cleans things up, brightens it up and stuff like that, and of course adds more orange, and the supers actually are even more reduced. And again, this is a Mojave and a Fire, which is awesome. I mean, those are just genes that work really well together. And by the way, you can see this Coke machine behind me. This is actually Charlie's incubator. This is where all the eggs go, so it's pretty cool to be able to recycle something like that and make it work for an incubator. It's pretty awesome. I've also showed you guys a bunch of different GHI stuff, and I've always said that they're co-dominant with the super version. Well, this happens to be the super version. This is a super GHI Pinstripe, and again, that super version makes it really a powerhouse because everything that this produces is going to be GHI. This happens to be a freeway bumblebee, which is basically a similar thing to a highway. There's freeways and then there's highways, and they look almost similar, but they're just slightly different. And then of course this would be also Pastel and Spider. Definitely makes for a beautiful snake. And then this one happens to be a GHI Pastel Lesser Pin, which is basically a Pastel Kingpin GHI animal, and that's actually really cool. I don't know that I've ever actually seen one of these in person. I like it a lot. Take a look at this one, guys. This is actually a Super Cypress Honey. Now the Cypress and Bongo are pretty similar animals. The Cypress is just a little bit lighter, and of course they both have super versions. Now unfortunately some of the Super Cypress stuff has a little bit of Nero issues, but this one seems to be pretty solid. I mean, definitely see a little bit of head wobble, but nothing too serious, but they are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at how unbelievably clean, and that racing stripe down his back, that's pretty freaking cool. Back to the GHI stuff, and just really my favorite of the GHI would be the GHO Mojaves. Of course, you breed those two together, they're both co-dominant animals, and producing these things are incredible. I mean, that's just a really shocking animal. For a darker morph animal, this is the one that when you pull out, everyone goes, oh my god, that thing is so awesome. It's got that same reaction if you pull out a blue-eyed leucistic or a pied, but in this case, the dark version of that. Another smoker right here. This is a Pastel Fire Enchi Yellow-Bellied Pinstripe. I mean, that has a lot of genes in it. I mean, it is gorgeous. I mean, look at how yellow and vibrant that thing is. That thing is so cool. And again, you could bring this to almost anything and get some really cool babies. Ooh, doggy. This one is freaking insane. Take a look at that animal right there. Oh my gosh, that thing is so cool. And of course, this is an Orange Dream. I've been talking about that. And this is a highway ball python. Oh my gosh, that thing is on fire. On to yet another room. This happens to be a Spinner Blast Calico. And that Calico and Spider gene just really work well together. And this is pretty cool. So again, it's a Pastel, it's a Pinstripe, it's a Spider, and it's a Calico. And this would be the version of the highway, which is the gravel, but this is actually a super gravel, which means that everything that is produced from it is a gravel, and then this happens to also be a Pastel version. So basically what you're going to get Pastel gravels and gravels when you breed them, and then if you breed it to something like, say, a Super Yellow-Belly, which is an ivory, you're going to get 100% highways. And I mentioned pieds a little bit earlier. Sure enough, he has some beautiful pied stuff. I mean, look at this. This is actually a banana piebald ball python, and I just think that those two mutations put together are absolutely incredible. I mean, look at how awesome that is. I mean, I tell you, that's just a shockingly cool animal. This is pretty interesting here. This is actually a Super Pewter banana. So basically what you have is a solid, almost purplish snake. Now, they aren't really that purple. I mean, it's more like a brown color with a little tinge of purple, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, that thing is awesome, and I like it's kind of freckled out. It gives it a little bit of personality. I think it's pretty awesome. This one here happens to be a Super Enchi Super Vanilla Yellow-Belly. I love Enchi stuff, I love vanilla stuff, and I love the fact that they both have amazing supers. So when you put them together, you got a pretty cool animal. And then that Yellow-Belly gene just adds a little bit of flaming in the sides. Nevertheless, that's a great combo. Back to the GHI stuff, and again, the GHI has got to have it, and it makes things really busy pattern. Well, this happens to be a busy pattern, and then you put it to something like a Woma, like this one, and it actually reduces the pattern, and it kind of makes just a really interesting, blushed out, kind of busy pattern, but still reduced at the same time. I like this one, and this is a female that hopefully will have some eggs this year. I showed you the Suma earlier. This is actually the Super Black Pastel, but it's also a het pied. The thing I think that's really neat about this one is look at the belly right there. I mean, it's got like a solid white belly. So I mean, that's kind of the whole like holy grail, right? Is they call them panda pieds, which are basically the Super Black Pastel, Super Cinnamon Pastel, or Super Mahogany, which is the Sumer pieds, which would basically give you kind of an Oreo or panda pied, and you're kind of getting an idea of what that'll look like right there with that beautiful white belly and then that black patterning behind it. This is actually a bamboo pewter, but look at the head on that thing. It's got like this bright yellow head, which I think is awesome. And again, basically what you have is a bamboo, a pastel, and a cinnamon, but you mix those together. I would have never expected to have that yellow head like that. That
That is freaking awesome.
I think the last ball python I'm going to show you guys would happen to be this Enchi Puma. So again, the Puma is much like the Super Stripe, much like the Highway, the Freeway, and all of that type of stuff. They're allelic animals, but this would be a spark to a Yellow-Bellied, and then again, the Enchi gene in it. As you can see, this is just a small tasting of what he has going on here. He has an amazing collection, and I'm so blessed that I was able to spend some time here and see these incredible animals. Let me know what animal you like down below the best, because I know I can't choose. Tell you much, as much fun as I've had at this place, I could stay here all day. I do have to head out to the airport because, hey, we've got a long flight ahead of us off to Africa. I'm not looking forward to 14, 15 hours in a plane, but I am looking forward to adventure once I get there. It's going to be absolutely incredible, and I can't think of a better way to end it than being at a place like this. How awesome was that? So I'm at the airport. I'm about to check in to get ready for this long flight to Africa. I hope that you guys enjoyed the last couple days with Charlie at Noah's Ark and then his snakes. I mean, what amazing time it was. It was definitely a good way for me to end this journey, or get the journey started, whichever way you want to look at it. I'm definitely already a little homesick. I'm definitely freaking out a little bit about this trip, but it's going to be absolutely amazing, and I hope that you guys will enjoy this journey with me. It is going to be absolutely epic. I have no doubt about it. Thank you guys for all your support. You mean the world to me. Do me a favor and wish me luck on this journey, because 15 hours on a plane is not something I'm really excited about. Regardless, it's going to work out, and tomorrow we are going to start this incredible journey that we are on. Do me a couple favors before we get out of here. Can you smash that like button as well as turn those post notifications on? Remember to be kind to someone, and I promise I'm going to see you guys tomorrow in Africa.